Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. Today we're going to do a quick walk around presentation on Armin's 2025 250X. Just kind of preface this a little bit, I've had a couple of KTM 252 strokes, and so I'm going to ride it here in just a little while, and we'll kind of talk about some of the comparisons, but some of the things that feel different as well. But Armin, you put some money into the bike, so let's talk about some of the mods that you've done to it to begin with. Let's start up here in the front.
For sure.
You just had tubeless installed yesterday.
Just had tubeless. Yeah, the best way to probably run through the parts is most recent to oldest.
Okay.
So yeah, tubeless setup, front and back. I do have my brand new tires on there, the MX34s.
Okay, so talk over just a moment. How do you feel about the tubeless so far? What do you feel different than having the tubes in? I
think a little softer for sure. The traction, definitely. I haven't aired down significantly yet.
When you say softer, what do you mean?
Softer as far as grabbing more, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, a little more grab to it. Yeah, better traction.
Do you feel like you get any more lean angle traction, or is that about the same?
That seems about the same.
Okay. And so currently, right now, you're running...
I'm running 10 up front.
Okay.
8 in the back.
8 in the back.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the sidewall rolls on you at all?
I don't, and that was the concern initially. How low am I going to go? Realistically, I probably won't go under 6.
Okay.
You know, and this way I'm not going to have to worry about that.
Yeah, so out here where we ride, and probably most of the places that we ride, there is a lot of rock, there's a lot of roots. So obviously, you know, running too little air pressure on a tube type tire, you're always concerned about getting a pinch flat. So this obviously takes or prevents that from happening, I should say. So you got the MX or Dunlop MX4. Now, have you run any other tires? MX34, excuse me.
I haven't, no.
Okay.
Ran the stock MX33 for a bit.
And do you feel any difference in traction on the 34 versus the 33?
I really don't, no.
Okay.
I think this is just a preference for all my bike setups.
Okay. And then from there,
we have our suspension upgrade.
M9 suspension. So
yep.
Darren Mee's over in Sisters. He's now in Sisters instead of Redmond, but just moved his shop over there. Before you put suspension on, can you tell any difference now versus what you did before?
That's tough because it went from track straight to Darren.
Okay.
So I did not even ride it with stock suspension on it.
So let's say, compared to your bikes before you did the suspension on them, was there any change?
Yeah, definitely more, things are more forgiving on the trails for me. You know, it's definitely, I could tell whether it's off a little bit, whether it was House of Horsepower or M9, they got it dialed into more of a, you know, I'm 230 pounds. So more to my riding style and for my size.
We try to stay out of the sunlight as much as possible, not to deflect it. So one of the things that I've noticed in suspension since I've done it is number one, it feels a lot more planted to the trails.
Yeah.
It absorbs a lot of the bumps. You can take, or I should say, it absorbs the jumps a lot better. So you got more dampening. But the thing that I feel is, number one, it makes me feel comfortable. And so if you feel comfortable, you have a tendency to want to push a little bit harder.
I definitely feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And definitely push harder.
All right. So what's the next thing you did to it?
Next thing, just some aesthetic or like cosmetic, but definitely worth it. I just put my bark busters on.
Okay. They're
Circa Pros. Put in a skid plate, a TM Design Works skid plate.
Okay.
Aesthetics again, just a Boysen factory cover.
Now, did you do the Boysen?
I didn't do any clutch kits yet. No, I figured we'll leave all that stock.
Okay, but not the clutch kit. But did you do the water? What am I trying to say? The Boysen makes like a high flow
water pump.
It's a fin that pushes the water.
Oh no, that I haven't upgraded that yet. But yeah, while we're in here, I mean, we could go to the other side, because you can see the apex head. Okay,
so you went to a high compression head.
High compression, yeah.
Do you feel any difference with that?
Yeah, I think we were talking about it at one point, you know, more manageable. You know, this is more trail specific head too. So I think it tones things down. With that, you know, it's got the hitless power valve, which toned it down. I think initially this was just adding to it.
So to back up for just a second, so the high compression head, I had done that on my 250, my 2022 KTM 250XC, and the biggest thing that I noticed is it gave it a lot more lugging power. So especially down low, it gave it a lot more low end torque.
Yeah.
I noticed I've only ridden your bike once, maybe twice. But the one thing that I did notice in the beginning, before you put the head on, is it didn't have any bottom end, but it seemed like once you get to the top, it was more of a track bike than what it was.
Right. It was, the peppiness was there.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the Boyesen rad valve plays a factor.
Okay.
I think it was just more suggested, but that is also another upgrade.
Okay.
If you go on the other side, it's the Smart Carb SC3. Honestly, my personal consumer opinion on it, with the Keen that was in their stock, I never had to touch it. Now I'm messing with it when I'm down at home in the valley or up here. Usually it's a 5-click difference for the external jetting.
Okay.
Which is just, you depress this, or you open full throttle, depress this, and turn it left or right for leanness or richness.
Okay.
While we're down here, my favorite upgrade, the electric start.
Put a starter on there.
Yeah, super helpful, super fun out here to just pick up where we left off.
Obviously,
by pushing the start button.
Being stuck on an incline.
Oh yeah, super
is
helpful.
not any fun when you try to start it and then get back going again. So that is definitely a huge benefit. I know that you mentioned, or you did put in is it a Magura clutch?
It's a Magura clutch, yeah,
Okay.
hydraulic clutch. I like my shorty lever, so I bought this Midwest Mountain Engineering,
Okay.
which was compatible with it.
And that's unbreakable?
It's not an unbreakable,
It's not, okay.
no. It's got this fat design to it that I really like. It's super comfortable.
Okay.
Other smaller items, this is a 10 millimeter plus length shifter lever down there.
So it's a little bit longer. Now, how
a little
tall
bit
are
longer,
you?
6'4".
6'4", okay.
With a size 14 boot, so I don't hit that as much as I hit my brake on accident when I'm out there, but I do. But I did hammerhead design there, hammerhead design on my brake pedal.
I know that you did, was it flow lowering?
I did flow lowering foot pegs.
Now, how does it change on these? Because I know on my, let's see, I had a 2022 was my last Yamaha, and it was 2 millimeters down and 10 millimeters back. So more than anything else, it just kind of opened up the cockpit.
Absolutely does.
So
and it just
is
makes
this the
that
same?
stand. It does. I'm not sure the millimeter spec where they place it, but it is a down and back.
Okay.
And it just makes the sitting, standing transition so much easier.
Absolutely.
So much smoother. And yeah, every bike I have to at least have that. And then we'll jump to the seat. This is a Guts Racing RJ wing seat.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my knees are way above it if I don't add this with a little extra, I think it's a 30 millimeter plus.
Okay. Now, I'm only 5'10", and when I did ride it before with the seat, to me, it was not comfortable.
It was not comfortable,
and that was more of it was, getting on and off the bike when you're first getting started, that was the biggest issue. I know for you, because you're so tall, the wing seat will definitely help give you.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
But because I'm shorter, to me, it didn't make sense. So it might be one thing that if you're, kind of thinking about getting a gut seat and you're thinking about doing the wing seat, depending on how tall you are, you may or may not like that. But obviously it's a real benefit for you.
Yeah.
Because you went to the taller seat, you did risers?
I did risers. I forget the millimeter spec. Not as tall as my WR.
Okay.
I wanted to get a little more of that quick control responsiveness.
Yep.
While we're up there, I think just stock handlebars actually. ASV brake lever, ODI lock-on grips. As far as piping, exhaust, it's the gnarly, FMF gnarly with a turbine core too.
Okay.
Suggested for low end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super happy with it.
Okay, so let's run through pricing real quick.
Yeah.
So for the suspension, how much was the suspension?
$950.
Okay.
Yeah, I think worth every penny of it too.
And you can either ship it into Darren Mees over there at M9 Suspension, or you can take it in over there if you happen to be in Oregon. Turnaround time is usually pretty quick. I've taken 5 of my bikes and had suspension done, and I'm not going to put Darren on the spot here, but he has done a couple, not on the spot, but he's gotten a turnaround time within just a couple days. So, I think the norm is probably, a week?
Yeah, and that's about, it was less than a week for this one. It was actually Mother's Day weekend. We were going to Bend for a trip. I dropped it off the Monday before, and he actually said, hey, Thursday, it's ready to go. Come pick it up whenever.
Perfect. Okay, tires? Do you remember how much the tires were?
Tires for front and back, you're sitting at just under $200.
Okay.
Again, you know, I prefer this. I think you got me into them, and I mean, until we ride something significantly different as far as trail conditions, then I think we're good.
FMF gnarly pipe.
FMF gnarly. Well, with the combo, I think it was just under about 500 for both.
So I know you wanted to go to an aftermarket pipe instead of the black pipe that come on the bike. From what I understand, the FMF gnarly gives you a little more low-end torque.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. And then how about your skid plate and your
skid plate and all that? So the skid plate was, I got my little cheat sheet here. Skid plate was 170. Clutch cover was 101.
Okay. And the skid plate, it does not cover the linkage down there. But it does cover the frame.
It's got a pretty good, the wrap up front.
Let's skip over to how much was the clutch cover?
Clutch cover was 101.
Okay. And then how much was your hitless?
The hitless was, I did that front. Hitless was 375. And again, to me, worth every penny. Really toned it down.
So for anybody who's not familiar with what a hitless is, hitless takes that. Number one, you don't have any bottom end to speak of. And so the hitless allows it to get into the power band faster, but then it kind of tones it down as it goes on. And so it's not giving it like that on, it's not a light switch on and off.
It's not a hard on off, or no, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of hangs out in that power band.
How much was the head?
The head, not too much either when it comes to things. It was 290.
Okay.
You know, in the bigger picture, you know, going to the smart carb was probably the biggest spend besides suspension. It was $650 for the smart carb.
So what is the benefit that you feel of the smart carb?
I haven't got to experience it yet, but if we went to 3 trails, I would have probably enjoyed like being able to tune it down and really crisp up that bottom end.
Okay.
Because from here to town, I'm a 5-click difference. 5 clicks leaner up here, 5 clicks richer down there.
So we live at close to sea level.
Yeah.
One of the areas we ride is probably maybe 500 feet. Up here, what do you think it is? 2,000?
Yeah, because Black
maybe?
Canyon's 15 or so. You said, yeah.
Okay. And then the other place he was talking about riding was 3 trails. So 3 trails is right around 4,500 feet.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, on a normal bike with a normal carburetor, you would have to go in there and rejet it. And so with the smart carb, you don't have to do your rejetting. You have the ability to adjust it. So that makes it nice. Starter, how much was the starter?
Starter was 14. Another, you know, pretty significant spend, but well worth every penny in my opinion for what we do out here. Okay.
Yeah, we ride only woods. We always say that we want to go to the track, but we haven't made it yet. I've ridden a couple times in the past, but yes, that is definitely an improvement. How much was the Magura clutch?
The Magura clutch was 329. To be honest, not a huge significant difference as far as where it was with stock and the Magura. So can't take it back, but yeah, that's my opinion on it. Between that and the smart carb, maybe I would have done something different if I knew the outcome. Okay. I know the stock Yamaha carburetors are solid, and I never had to mess with it, prior to putting that in. And now I'm all running a little funky down home and got to tweak it a little bit even up here, and it's not a huge elevation increase.
So obviously one of the things that kind of made you lean that direction was the difference in elevation that we ride. But the second thing is that, and I had the same issue on my KTM when it was carbureted, or it had a carburetor on my 2019 model, but it sputters down low, and then it seems to smooth out and run really crisp and towards the mid and top.
Yeah, and it was supposed to crisp things up a little more, and it does. Up here it is.
It runs better on the bottom.
Yeah, if I went down home right now and didn't touch anything with the jetting adjustment, it would be definitely a lot sputtery.
Okay. How much were your bars? Not the bars,
the busters. Yeah, those were 180.
Okay.
They do have this neat little, screw here you could undo, and you get a little airflow through there, so it's vented as well as covered. Okay. Depending on how cold it is outside.
It looks like you put a Fastway kickstand on there.
I did, yeah. That's a couple $100. I like it. It really tucks away up under here. I know with like when I ride my WR or my 250X, my boot always snags the spring for some reason. I don't know if it's pinching too tight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I catch it.
It doesn't do it on this one?
Doesn't do it on that, and it always throws me off, especially when I'm going from that transition to seating to standing, and I'm stuck on my kickstand spring. So something I'll probably do to my other bikes.
I think, have we covered everything? How much was the gut seat?
Gut seat, I think it was 500.
Okay. And obviously you being taller, it's kind of a
big
kind of
benefit.
a necessity.
Yeah, well, you know, just overall, I was chasing bottom end, like for what we do. So even we skipped it because you can't see it, but the twin air power flow is in there. That's in there. So, you know, everything was low end focus while we put it on here.
And I put the twin air power flow on all of my bikes. And I think the biggest thing that you notice is, like you said, you pick up more bottom end, but you get more throttle response too. So it seems like you can be on the pipe a lot quicker with the two-stroke, that is. And then with the four-stroke, it just seems like you have a lot more, seems like that throttle to rear wheel connection seems like a lot closer. So is there anything that we missed here?
I'm looking through it. Yeah, right. All the hidden components. As far as bar risers, they're 22 millimeter. I did note that. Okay. Which is a little less than on my WR.
We didn't talk about it, and one of the things that I had issues with on my 2019 and also 2022 YZ450 was better, but was the brakes. So on the front brake, I always had an issue with it feeling kind of spongy. At least on the 2019 it did, and I ended up going to a Galfer steel braided line. Do you feel like the front brake is spongy at all compared to your other bikes?
No, and the Super Crisp for me, it's newer too. You know, the other ones are definitely worn in a little more. I can still feather it and not go over every time, so it's not super sensitive. And
so did that come with, looks like it's a floating disc. Is that standard disc on there?
Yeah.
Or have you changed that?
Yeah, standard disc.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I think we've kind of covered everything there.
Yeah.
Let's go out and hit a couple trails. I'm going to throw a mic on, different setup, so I can kind of talk and ride as we're riding, and hopefully kind of give you some of my thoughts along the way. So stay tuned. All right, so I'm on the two-stroke now. Take me just a moment to kind of get adjusted to it. The engagement feels different on the clutch than what mine does. It seems like it has to go out a lot more before it actually engages. And the bike itself, I know the seat has a lot to do with it, but the bike feels considerably taller. So it's like, I don't know, maybe on the KTM it just seems like it's a little, center of gravity is a little bit lower. The brakes feel good. So even with the hitless, it still feels like there's nothing, and then all of a sudden there's a lot. The brakes are actually really good. I apologize if you hear me breathing so hard. The mic's right in front of my face. I just want you to be able to talk kind of through this trail. The hitless definitely makes an improvement. Kind of takes some of that initial bark right off the, I won't say bark. You know, you can feel it when it kicks, when the power band kicks in, but, or I should say when the power valve opens up. But before, you just didn't have much on the bottom, and it actually helped with the bottom end too. Standing on this bike, I feel considerably taller than what I did with my KTMs. And I'm sure that has something to do with where the foot pegs are at. See how well it pulls second gear out of these corners. Definitely has more low end with that high compression head. Now, in comparison to the KTMs that I had, so the first one was a 2019, it was carbureted, it was 250XC, and then the 2022 that I got was a KTM 250XC TPI. When I first got it, there was nothing exciting about it. It was too dead on the bottom, and so I put a two-stroke performance kit. So the two-stroke performance kit completely remaps it based on the riding that I do. They suggested going with a high compression head, and so that gave it more low-end torque. But it also helps when you go into higher elevations too. Keep forgetting that your keel start is still on the left-hand side. But anyway, gave it more of a bottom end, and it completely changed the way the bike rode. It probably rode more like a 300 than a 250, in the sense that you were always right there on the pipe anytime you wanted to be, but it's very linear. It rode more like a four-stroke, and so it made it easy. You know, picking your line choices was very easy, but then also, you know, it was very easy to go up tight technical stuff. This, you know, an experienced rider would probably do a lot better. And you do have a wide transmission ratio, or wide ratio transmission rather, on this. So that would probably definitely help in the tight technical stuff. So anyway, those are my first impressions. We'll go hit another trail. One thing that I'm noticing today, and it's probably a combination of the things that he's done to the bike, is that it seems like you're a lot closer to being on the pipe than what you were before. The hitless probably has something to do with that. But one of the things that I noticed before the hitless is that, like I said, you feel like you were keep giving it the gas, and then it would take a while before it did anything. Yeah, I like it a lot better with this high compression head and the hitless system on it. Feels a lot more like the KTM's. The McGurk clutch is easy to engage, easy to depress, I should say. But it seems like like I mentioned, it doesn't engage until the very end, and I'm sure that just takes some adjustment on my part. The Brembo clutch on my KTM, even my 450, feels totally different. So it takes a little getting used to. I tell you, I really like the mid and the top end on this.